Berlin, 1933. The streets still sound the way they always have. Chimney smoke drifts above the rooftops, carrying the familiar smell of coal and fresh bread. Shop windows glow with new radios, polished shoes, and neatly folded fabrics. The newspaper crackles in your hands. Politics fills the front page again. Speeches, rallies, promises of national renewal. The name Adolf Hitler appears more often now, printed in heavy ink that seems to demand attention. Still, life moves forward. Children hurry to school with satchels bouncing against their backs. Office clerks adjust their hats and check their watches. In the markets, housewives argue over egg prices as if the future depends on it. And in your home, the morning feels ordinary. You are Jewish, yes, but you are also German. You fought in the last war. You pay your taxes. Your family has lived here for generations. But something in the air has begun to change. On street corners, new flags hang where theater posters used to be. Red banners with black swastikas ripple in the cold wind. The radio has changed too. It no longer just reports the news. It declares things. Speeches spill into living rooms with a metallic certainty. In cafes, debates buzz over cigarettes and coffee cups. In classrooms, children recite lessons in steady, innocent voices. 1933 is winding itself tighter. At first, the changes arrive quietly. April 1933. You see them, brown uniformed SA men standing outside Jewish-owned shops. Their boots are polished. Their expressions are blank. In their hands, placards, "Don't buy from Jews." The words feel unreal. This is Germany. Your Germany. You pause across the street, watching familiar storefronts. The tailor you've known for years, now marked like something dangerous. Some customers hesitate, then walk past. Soon after, the letters begin to arrive. Thin envelopes, official stamps, Jewish civil servants dismissed, Jewish lawyers suspended, Jewish doctors removed. The explanations are always bureaucratic, polite, almost sterile, in accordance with new regulations. One piece of paper is enough to end a career. You start to notice empty desks. At schools, at offices, at hospitals, Jewish names quietly vanish from the rosters. Some colleagues say awkward goodbyes. Others say nothing. The radio grows louder in German homes. Not just news now, messaging. Voices repeat the same phrases: national renewal, racial unity, the Jewish problem. In classrooms, teachers begin introducing new lessons. Charts appear on the walls, diagrams of noses, skulls, family trees. Children copy the drawings carefully. Now you notice the seating has changed. Small things, always small things. Social life begins to shift. An invitation that never arrives. A handshake that feels shorter. In Jewish homes, life tries to remain normal. Dinner is still served. Parents speak in lower voices now. Children are told, gently at first, to be careful what they say. By the end of 1934, you understand, nothing has exploded. There have been no mass arrests. And yet, your world is already smaller than it was a year ago. The machinery is moving. By 1935, the uncertainty hardens into law. In September, the announcement comes from the Nazi Party Congress in Nuremberg. New racial laws. Official. Order being restored. Under the new decrees, Jews are no longer citizens of the Reich. Not restricted citizens. Not citizens at all. Overnight, your legal identity changes. You are reclassified by blood. Family trees are examined. Birth records scrutinized. Grandparents counted like entries in a ledger. 1 Jewish grandparent. 2, 4. Each number determines your fate. Marriage between Jews and so-called Aryans is now forbidden. Engagements quietly dissolve. Weddings are canceled. Love itself has been legislated. In schools, the shift becomes visible. Your child comes home quieter. A teacher has moved Jewish students to separate desks. Classmates repeat phrases they don't understand. Paperwork begins to multiply. Forms asking about ancestry. Forms confirming racial status. Each document draws the line darker between you and everyone else. In the markets, customers who once greeted you now keep their distance. Conversations grow shorter. Smiles thinner. Kindness shown only when no one is watching. By late 1935, exclusion is no longer just social pressure. It is written into law. Signed, stamped, enforced. You are still in your home, but legally, you no longer belong. In 1936, Germany puts on a show. Flags are freshly ironed. Streets are swept clean. Buildings gleam under summer light. The world is coming to Berlin for the Olympic Games. The world is coming to Berlin for the Olympic Games. And suddenly, the country seems eager to look welcoming. You notice the change almost immediately. Some of the harsh anti-Jewish signs that had appeared in previous years quietly disappear from major streets. Shop windows that were once smeared with paint are scrubbed clean. Newspapers soften their tone, just slightly. To foreign visitors, Germany looks modern, orderly, proud. For a moment, just a moment, you wonder if the pressure might ease. But beneath the polished surface, nothing fundamental has changed. In your neighborhood, customers who stopped coming still stay away. Jewish professionals who lost their positions are not reinstated. University lecture halls remain missing familiar names. The machinery has not stopped. It has simply lowered its voice. The radio continues its steady rhythm: unity, strength, national pride. Children in schools still practice the compulsory salute, arms raised in unison, the gesture becoming more automatic with each passing month. Even the youngest no longer hesitate. You begin to understand something unsettling. The regime does not always need to shout. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it smiles for the cameras. Sometimes it hides the sharp edges. Inside Jewish homes, life continues with careful determination. Friday night candles still flicker. Soup still simmers on the stove. Families gather, speaking in lower, more cautious tones. Hope hasn't vanished. Not completely. Some people tell themselves the worst may already have passed. That perhaps, if things remain calm, life might stabilize. But outside, the flags still hang from every public building. The speeches still fill the airwaves. And the laws passed last year are still firmly in place. 1936 ends with a strange, fragile feeling. By 1937, there is no single dramatic moment. Instead, the pressure tightens. Quietly, methodically, your world begins to shrink on paper first. The word appears more often: Aryanization. It sounds technical, administrative, but in practice, it means something simple. Jewish businesses must be transferred to non-Jewish owners. At first, the process is framed as voluntary, but the prices offered are impossibly low. Bank credit disappears. Licenses are suddenly reviewed. Inspections multiply. One way or another, the outcome is the same. The shop that has been in your family for decades is no longer yours. The sign above the door may remain, but the name behind the counter has changed. Across the city, the pattern repeats. Jewish lawyers lose the last of their clients. Jewish doctors see waiting rooms grow empty. Jewish teachers disappear from classrooms entirely, not always through force, often through silence. Customers stop coming. Colleagues stop calling. Friends stop visiting. Fear is doing most of the work now. The radio's message grows more insistent. The Jew is foreign. The Jew is separate. The radio's message grows more insistent. The Jew is foreign. The Jew is separate. The Jew is the problem. Children copy these phrases. Repetition never stops. Inside Jewish homes, the mood has changed. Not panic, not yet, but preparation. Families begin hiding valuables in basements, behind walls, inside false drawers. Important papers are gathered. Important papers are gathered and sorted. Quiet conversations begin about relatives abroad, about visas, about possibilities. Some still believe this storm might pass. That reason will return. But by the end of 1937, one thing is becoming painfully clear. This is not temporary pressure. This is a system, and it is tightening. 1938 begins with movement. 1938 begins with movement. In March, Germany annexes Austria. On the radio, the word is spoken with triumph, Anschluss, reunion, unity, destiny fulfilled. But in Vienna's streets, you see something different. Jewish men and women are forced to scrub sidewalks on their knees while crowds watch. Shops are seized overnight. Families are thrown out. What had taken years to unfold in Germany happens in Austria almost instantly. It is a warning, one many people still struggle to fully accept. In September, another decree arrives. Jewish passports must now carry a large red J. No explanation, no appeal, just another mark. Another way to be identified anywhere, at any time. The net is tightening. Then comes November. November 9th, 1938. The night begins like any other. And then, Windows explode across the city. Not one or two. Thousands. Jewish shops are smashed open. Display cases shattered. Merchandise thrown into the streets. The sound of breaking glass rolls through neighborhoods like a storm. Synagogues burn. Flames climb into the night sky while firefighters stand by, not to save the buildings, but to make sure the fire doesn't spread to nearby Aryan property. Men in uniform move with frightening coordination. Doors are pounded in. Jewish men are dragged from their homes. Fathers, brothers, sons, pushed into trucks under shouting and blows. Many are sent to concentration camps within days. Meals sit unfinished on kitchen tables. Children hide under beds as boots thunder through stairwells. The violence is everywhere. And yet, police mostly do nothing. Officials call it a spontaneous outburst. But everyone can see the truth. This was organized, encouraged, allowed. By morning, the streets glitter with shattered glass. Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass. Dozens of Jews are dead. Thousands of businesses destroyed. 30,000 Jewish men arrested. And then, as if the cruelty itself were not enough, the Jewish community is ordered to pay for the damage. After Kristallnacht, something inside you shifts permanently. The illusion of safety is gone, completely. Neighbors who once looked away now look frightened. Immigration offices fill with desperate families. Suitcases appear in hallways. Because by the end of 1938, one truth is impossible to ignore. Jewish life in Germany has been shattered, and whatever comes next will be worse. 1939 arrives heavy with rumors. In cafes and breadlines, people speak in low voices about borders, armies, and ultimatums. Maps in schoolrooms already look too small for the ambitions pouring from the radio. Then, on September 1st, Germany invades Poland. War is no longer a threat. It is reality. And for millions of Jews in Eastern Europe, the descent accelerates overnight. German troops flood Polish cities. Orders appear on walls within days. Every Jew must register. Every Jew must declare property. Every Jew must follow new restrictions. The bureaucracy moves with frightening speed. Soon after come the armbands, white bands marked with the blue Star of David. They must be worn at all times in public. No more blending in. No more anonymity. You are visible now, everywhere you go. Daily life fractures. In markets, Jews can shop only during restricted hours. In public parks, benches carry new signs. In public parks, benches carry new signs. Jews forbidden. Schools expel Jewish children entirely. Radios are confiscated. Synagogues are closed or repurposed. The walls are rising. Then comes the next step, ghettos. At first, the word sounds temporary, administrative. But in city after city, Warsaw, Lodz, Lublin, families are ordered to relocate. You are allowed to bring only what you can carry. Suitcases appear again. Doors close behind you. By November 1940, the Warsaw Ghetto is sealed. A city within a city. More than 400,000 people packed into a space never meant to hold them. Walls rise over 3 meters high. Barbed wire crowns the top. Guards patrol the gates. On one side, normal life. On the other, survival. Food rations are brutally small. Barely enough calories to survive. Hunger becomes constant. Children begin slipping through cracks in the wall to smuggle bread. Some return. Many do not. Apartments meant for one family now hold 5, sometimes 10. Winter cold seeps through broken windows. Disease spreads easily in the overcrowding. And yet, life refuses to disappear. Secret schools begin meeting in back rooms. Musicians play worn violins. Parents still try to create some version of normal. Because even here, dignity becomes a form of resistance. By the end of 1940, a terrible realization is starting to take shape. The ghettos are not temporary. The restrictions are not easing. And somewhere beyond the walls, the trains are running more often. By 1941, the walls around you are no longer just physical. They are everywhere. In Germany itself, a new order arrives in September. All Jews over the age of 6 must wear a yellow star sewn visibly onto their clothing. Not optional, not removable, not ignorable. You stitch it carefully onto your coat. 6 points of yellow cloth. Simple. But the moment you step outside, the world reacts. Some people stare openly now. Some cross the street to avoid you. A few still offer quiet kindness, but quickly, nervously, looking over their shoulders. The star does what the laws began. It makes you permanently visible. Then, in June, the war explodes eastward. Germany launches Operation Barbarossa, the massive invasion of the Soviet Union. On the maps, arrows push deeper and deeper into Eastern Europe. But behind the front lines come other units. Mobile killing squads, the Einsatzgruppen. In towns across Ukraine, Belarus, and the Baltic states, Jews are rounded up. Rounded up, not for ghettos, not for transport, but for execution. Pits are dug on the outskirts of towns. Gunfire echoes across forests and ravines. Entire communities vanish in days. The news travels slowly, carried in whispers, fragments, rumors that are almost too terrible to believe. But inside the ghettos, the fear changes shape. Deportation lists begin to appear more frequently. Not everyone understands where the trains are going. Official language still speaks of resettlement, of work in the East. But families notice what matters most. People who leave do not return. Suitcases begin to stay packed near the door. Conversations grow shorter. Sleep grows lighter. Suitcases begin to stay packed near the door. Conversations grow shorter. Sleep grows lighter. Because by the end of 1941, something cold and undeniable has settled in the air. Because by the end of 1941, something cold and undeniable has settled in the air. The ghettos were not the end. They were only the beginning.